how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you undetected.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
I too am a thought criminal. Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite. Welcome to Talk to Me, Taylor. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to none other than Talk to Me, Taylor. My fat ass is back after eating its way through endless buffets on a cruise ship somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle, Caribbean. I don't even know, like on Jack Sparrow's pirate fucking ship. And I am back, baby. And guess what? I'm here to get existential with all of you because, well, it's existential, but make it cute. It's going to be existential meets vagina lollipops. Only here, only here. And I thought I would come back, nice and refreshed, but don't you worry because I am still fried, but we're all fried because that is just the time that we are living in. But I thought it would be funny. This is part anecdotal, part little history review, part modern times and current events, everybody, because, how could we forget? So I wanted to start with this because I just thought it was hilarious. So I was talking with Rob. You guys know Rob Nelson, who does the Rob Nelson live show here on GNN earlier today. And he's like, because it was prompted by my little impromptu history lesson, which I'm going to get to. Okay. Yeah. Not the history lesson prompted by, what was it? Was it like was it the Gemini AI that was making like black Nazis and shit? No, this is like the real deal. Okay. But talking all about, you guessed it, something on the brain lately. You're having an existential crisis, not me. It's not me, it's you. Okay. Or like in a breakup, it's not you, it's me. But all, really thinking all about impact and image and, how you're viewed and, how people see you and what you leave on the world and all this. So I'm telling you about my history lesson and he's like, he's like talking to me now, Taylor. He's like, how you just have this like kind of not a chip on your shoulder, but this, weird hang up, like taste in your mouth about influencers who literally get famous for doing absolutely nothing. And I'm like straight up pulling a C Virgo. I'm like, did I do that? Was that me? Did I say that out loud? That wasn't me. But we were talking about that, right? And that idea and how this shit goes so far back. I'm talking founding fathers back, right? And we were talking about how even John Adams at the time would say how he wouldn't be remembered because he was like stumpy, unattractive, and not charismatic. But the Washingtons, the Jeffersons, they would be remembered for their charisma and their good looks and wit and charm and all of this. And it's funny and it's kind of fucking true to this day. Like, where is the lie? We are talking about Washington and Jefferson way more than John Adams. Like, he's in his grave being like, I told you so, which by the way, total sidebar, but did you guys see Blair White, who I need to get on the show? She's a very prominent conservative trans influencer, but I interviewed her when she was fresh on the scene at the YouTube headquarters in LA. But she's been killing it. And she has a funny thing on her desk that says like, it's a tip jar, a dollar jar, kind of like a swear jar, but it says Blair, what's her name? Blair White was right. I feel like he is in his grave being like, I was right, bitches. But now, you think about that, right? It's like, okay, I'm jumping the shark here. Sorry. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. All right. So up next in my history lesson, I brushed up today and learned more about Mao, who, as you guys know, you smart cookies, right, was the leader of China post-World War II, all the way through the 70s. And it's so crazy to me how even though he was such a ruthless totalitarian leader, And under his rule, the famine, starvation, all of it, they estimated that 25 million to 40 million people died. And, the thought control, the Cultural Revolution, all of it. And how still to this day in China, how he is revered as a unifier and somebody who really brought China together, when it was in shambles and, disconnected post World War II. And I just was like, that's so crazy, right? And the last part, and I'm gonna bring it back to Karl Marx, I think, when we talk about Miss Rachel and Karl Marx, everybody, right? Like two peas in a pod. No, but I also, this may have been a blonde moment. I have my blonde moments. I'm gonna get to, I may or may not disclose one later. I don't know. Leave it in the tip jar to hear, not the tit jar, the tip jar to hear my blonde moment. What's up, everybody in the comments? Steve Urkel knew, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. With those suspenders. Yeah. Fuck yes. What's up, Abba? So good to see you guys. Welcome back to the show. Yeah. Today we're going not so overtly political, like Trump's renovations with this like grandiose Cinderella ballroom, Malaysia. Like I fucking don't care. I just feel like people don't care. We're over it. So going a little different direction today. Getting back to Karl Marx. No, but even right, how people are remembered, and perhaps it is, I don't know, like distorted or passed up. Like it's all just stories, right? They're all just human stories of events through time. And even Karl Marx, I was today years old when I realized Karl Marx wasn't this inherently evil man. I mean, don't get me wrong, communism is my fucking nightmare, but he was really, and it doesn't work, obviously. As I said to Hotep Jesus in our weekly recap, recently, like I do not want to be sharing other people's bathwater. Like that is your prerogative, Mamdani. But he really was an idealist, and his whole ethos was about really equalizing people and kind of restructuring the imbalance of power and giving more power to the people again, even though communist does not is a total flop and does not work, like is not hot, is a flop and does not work, and like I said, is my purgatory. Again, I always thought that he was just so inherently evil, because even just I watch a lot of conservative pundits and commentary and how it's like, oh, evil Marxists and Marxist this and Marxist that, when I realized what his, again, he was an idealist and what his goals were. I was like, oh shit, like little did I know this blonde again was today years old. So I think that I'm getting spammed on here. I don't know. This person is saying, I just found your channel. You look so much like my mom. I'll take it. Okay. So yeah, so all of this little like impromptu history that literally nobody asked for. History for dummies here. Talk to me, Taylor. I'm sorry. I cannot speak because my brain is still somewhere floating on this cruise ship. But all I can say is thank God it was not Carnival. Okay. So like, I don't know what my excuse is, but now we're in a time where, this is why I bring it back to the influencer thing and how I opened this episode of Rob, joking with me and giving me shit about my view of influencers, is because we all know, guys, that everybody now is doing the absolute most to do the most, I don't even know how else to put it, to literally do the most, right? To be the flashiest, to make their impact, I guess, in a way. But so much of it feels like bells and whistles and gimmicks and cheesy and algorithmic stroking off. Like what even feels real? I don't even know. Reaching and this and that. But the reason that this is so existential is because even though bitches be out here doing the most, will it even matter in the end? Like how much, again, of, like I said in the intro, how we are seen, how we are interpreted, and how we are remembered, how much of that is now versus once we're gone versus down the line. If, again, not to get dark, but it is Halloween, but like I'm a spooky witch all year. You guys know that. But if it even is to go on after you're here, I mean, I don't mean to be dark. Everybody is taking inventory right now of their own lives, right? And thinking, I know you are. I know you are thinking shit through. Stop trying to fool me. I'm not that blonde. I'm taking inventory of your life. But, right, even if it persists after you're here, what would that even look like? And like, not to say, I'm not trying to get too dark, but like, is it all for naught? Will it be changed? Will it be something totally different? Will it be accurate? Will it be distorted? So now that we focused on the then, let's focus a little bit on the now. Okay, I'm going to pop up some of your comments. Oh, I don't think that this guy is actually spam. Chris UK. Chris UK, type something sexy if you're not spam. Putting all this in here now. Yes, Abba, you know I'm a spooky witch. Let's go. I cannot wait to see the new Frankenstein, by the way, Guillermo del Toro's version. I'm going to talk about it actually in the end of this. I try to destroy my creations all the time. No, exactly. Like self-defeating, self-inflicted cycles and pain. Yes, I love my existential crew here. It is the best. Okay. So now that like I said, looked at the little, retrospective legacies of the then, the now. And what says now more than Kourtney Kardashian's vagina lollipops? Chris UK, right on cue with the sexy. Okay, I'll take it. You are not a bot. I am here for it. You fit right in here. I love it. So, yes, everybody, talk about legacy, leaving an impact, making your mark. What's up, Lindsay? Lindsay and everybody in the crowd here, who's heard about Kourtney Kardashian's new vagina lollipops, guys? So here was one of my blonde moments. Okay. So I hear about this news story today, and there's all this, I don't know. This is so Kourtney Kardashian. Like, this is on par with the Gwyneth Paltrow vagina candle. And this is where, like, this is going to be a little segment today, because we started the show with the likes of Karl Marx, of Mao, of the founding fathers, and now we're in the segment where women just do and say the darndest things. And I don't know what it is about the women with the vagina products. I don't know. I mean, I kind of hold it up to the male products, and I'm like, is it women's way of trying to make it less weird or destigmatize? But I'm like, are dudes this extra? You have obviously the Manscaped, you have Happy Nuts, who I actually worked with. They're more of like an irreverent tongue-in-cheek version of a Manscaped. But even I, as a woman, I'm like, do I need a vagina lollipop? Oh, so I'm sorry, I buried the lead with my blonde moment. So they're literal lollipops, okay? And the advertisement is her sucking on it. And I thought that the lollipop went in. Like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of Taylor's brain after being away for a week? But no, the Mythbusters here is you do suck on it. And it's supposed to be healthy for your vagina with, like I said, probiotics and all this stuff. And I don't really have much to say about this news item other than it's very on par with Kourtney Kardashian, vagina, this, that, the other thing. I don't know if you guys saw recently, but Kim Kardashian also came out with pubic hair thongs for Skims. And honestly, I'm not gonna knock. I can't. Like, I tried. It's like Jim Carrey and Liar Liar. I try to knock him and Skims. I can't do it. I still want the I don't need the nipple bra, because you guys know I roll braless, but I want the nipple piercing bra. That shit was on wait list. Like, I'm normally not a groupie for products or people or things, but that I was like, I want this. Yeah, you guys think that's crazy and nasty about the But then again, right? You have dude wipes. I've been to guy friends' houses and they have dude wipes on their toilet, which we know what those are. So I don't know if it's a thing, if it's really a double standard, if it's just like, is it a little extra? I don't really know. All I know is that $5.99 for the 5-pack of vagina lollipops at Target, I will be saving not for that. I'd rather have, a coffee or two. Jesus Christ. Okay, guys. Yeah, here you are. So with that, on the theme of like women just say the darndest things, and who knows if it will be cemented in time with their legacy and really make ripples of movement and impact, in culture and society and philosophy. Now we're moving forward, right? But you have Selena Gomez, who's re-entered the news cycle for some reason. And if you guys don't know, she has, oh shoot, ABBA, sorry, Restream is wigging out. It almost just had me block you from the chat. Pyramid 7, people will buy anything. Yeah, no, straight up. I am actually interested to see how this performs. I think that it's just like I think it's a scam. I've had conversations with my OB about this. I did the investigative work, and she's like, "Listen, I don't know if you guys wanted to know this, but she's like, it'll do its thing down there. I mean, we pop babies out from down there, so I think it's like good on maintaining itself. But you know, these bitches be on another level, so I don't really know." Okay, so Selena Gomez. So speaking of consumerism at its finest, she has I assume rare beauty. It's her brand, and it's like worth millions. Okay. But she went in an interview and was like, all of our models are or not models, but the people who advertise for Rare are real people and they're not models, and going on this whole like self-righteous thing about it, only for us to find out when you go to Rare's website, it tells you who the people are and they are in fact models. So I saw on the internet with like agents and the whole thing. So just what is the purpose or what is the reason? But then to take it a step further, she and Hailey Bieber, this has been like a thing that's been going on since John Adams made this premonition about our founding fathers. Okay. This feud these two have over Justin Bieber, like, ladies, it's time to move on. Like, we've outgrown the high school braces and acne. Like, let's move on with our lives. Okay. Like Selena, get lost in Benny Blanco's fro and just have your utopia in there. Okay. So they have, I guess, now both brands that are carried out Sephora, and Sephora has trash politics anyways. So take all of this with a grain of salt. But that said, if my products that I need are there, I am still going to spend my money there. So yeah, the consumerism thing, sometimes it just gets the best of us. Okay. I didn't choose this life. It chose me. So yeah. So I guess Hailey Bieber, she came out with a line, I guess, that's now in Sephora, which Rare Beauty is like a flagship brand ad. And the interviewer was trying to bait Hailey Bieber and be like, oh, what do you feel about competing brands? Which we all know that she was trying to the reporter was trying to get her to talk shit on Selena Gomez's brand, right? I actually love what Hailey Bieber said. It was something to the effect of, I'm not, whatever, it's competition, guys, free market capitalism, but not to that specificity or that extent. But I'm just going to put this comment up here. I'll address it in a minute. But she was saying, like, I don't feel in competition with people that I'm not inspired by. So I was like, damn, booyah. Actually, same though. But I love that comment because I feel like it's a little morsel of truth that actually kind of runs through this entire episode, whether we're talking about historical totalitarian leaders or Kourtney Kardashian with her vagina lollipops that you suck on and you don't in fact put up there. So, again, I'm not really affected by people who I'm not influenced by. I thought that was smart. But then Selena Gomez is like, Hailey never outwardly addresses Selena. So Selena takes it upon herself again to she's talking in code about this whole thing. Like, I think that we can be inspired by everybody on her social media. It's like, girl, again, nobody asked. I don't even know why this is a thing. Like, why are you making something out of nothing? And I saw a really funny video that's like it's just perpetual victimhood over and over again with this one. So I don't know, it's just silly. And it's like we're talking code over like a cosmetic store, like what it like, okay, it's like hieroglyphics of our time. Essay, Taylor, your bachelor story was funny, and talking with that older couple with Bible and their wives liking your boobs was funny and educational. I don't know if you are one of the husbands. Thank you. I love that story. And if you guys want more personal anecdotes, I'm happy to tell them. But funny enough about that story, one of the husbands, because we've kind of been in touch ever since then and they've kept up with the show. One of them reached out to me last week when I was away saying they were going to be here in Nashville and they wanted to go and wanted me to take them to the synagogue that I go to here so they could see it. So I sent it to them, but I was like, I'm out of town. But I thought that was so cool. So see, everybody, like, It all works out. Kumbaya, you know, from boobs to temple. It's all good. Okay, what else is going on in the world of women? The VS fat, yeah, it's kind of like women are sort of the thing. Not really. We're gonna take it somewhere else in this kind of like, you know, moment in the times wherever we are in this universe. Okay, so when I was gone, the Victoria's Secret fashion show came back, and as you saw, they ditched the woke. They didn't want to go too broke, and they restored their roots and their legacy that people really missed. The fantasy, the allure of it. You had some icons return, like Adriana Lima. You had Candace Swan Puel. Who's the other one who's iconic? A bunch of them. Wait, was it Adriana Lima? Shit. I'm not racist and mixing up my ethnic, you know, exotic Victoria's Secret Angels people. It's just a lot of info in the brain at once. Yeah, exactly. The butterfly effect. But either way, they came back too hot after doing the whole woke thing of, you know, the plus size and the trans models and all this and that. And again, like even this year, like Ashley Graham, who's plus size was in it, but she's working it. I wish she worked it actually a little bit more. Like, girl, you got the curves, like do a little like, like, come on, go for it. But you know, I appreciated that they gave the people what they want because I think they closed the door on the iconic show like for good, and then it made its return this year. You know, when I was, you know, sailing the blue seas, like somewhere where I lost half of my brain. And you know, I was glad to see it. It's cool. It's all good. Jasmine Tooks came out pregnant, which I loved. Fun little fact, since you guys like anecdotes. I worked out with Jasmine when I was a reporter in LA, and funny enough, okay, wait, it's all coming back. I've been on a whole Celine Dion kick. This isn't my Jasmine story, but I saw a video by Eric D'Alessandro. Is that his name? He's a comedian and he's freaking hilarious on Instagram, and he always impersonates like Long Island moms. He did a whole thing on mom pop. Like I'm talking grocery store, Faith Hill, you know, Shania, Cher, Celine Dion. I was listening to Celine this morning. Like the David Foster ricocheting through my AirPods of it all. I was like, do I bring David Foster, who's a composer of all these iconic songs, Whitney Houston, all that? I'm like, do I bring him on the show just because I can and want to? Like, I've interviewed him before. But anyways, it's all coming back to me now. Yeah, I was on the treadmill doing my interviews, like hyperventilating, crying. I was like, these songs are so good. Anyways, I interviewed Jasmine. You can go on my YouTube, and thank you for the kind words. You can go back and see my interview with her, but I talk about how she's so tall and me being like all of 5'1" on a good day, how she felt about dating shorter guys and, you know, navigating her way through the world on and off the runway, if you will. And yeah, we did do an exercise workout class together. And I was right behind her. And I still to this day, it really strikes me because these women work so hard. And yes, they're naturally gifted and are literally like the Mount Rushmore of like glitter and bras and tits. But they work really hard to get those bodies. And it always struck me how in that workout, even she's working and she like had a little cellulite going on. I'm like, you know, Victoria's Secret angels, they're just like us, except that we are sewer rats and they're not. Okay. You don't know any of this music. Wow. I'm gonna chalk it up to I assume you're from the UK, Chris, because your screen name is your AOL screen name. Everyone drop theirs in the comments. Mine was Shopping Girl. Oh God. It's too on the nose with this app. Shopping Girl, GURL. Yeah, drop your AOL screen names in here, but maybe it's because you're from the UK. I don't know, or you're just, you know, aren't civilized. I don't know why you don't know Mom Pop from the 2000s. Okay, so, and the other thing about the VS fashion show was Angel Reese was the first pro athlete in it. And while I don't always like agree with Angel Reese and all this, she looked hot. Hot as hot. She was fucking hot. I was here for it. Okay, so now moving on. While we wrap here, we got a lot more. I don't know how I'm going to get this in 6 minutes. I don't know. Let's see. 6 minutes in heaven. Let's see what we can pull off here. There was a Wall Street Journal whole investigative deep dive about how basically Hollywood is collapsing. And I'm like, sis, you didn't have to get your remaining reporters on payroll. You could have just asked me. Like, I was there and left Hollywood and lived through it. Like, what do you want me to say? That's why I left. But it talks about how just it's literally just collapsing between just all of it. It's just a sad state of affairs. And even between how 2022 and 2024, nearly 50,000 jobs in Hollywood were lost. Namely, I can confirm was one and am present. But it made me think about I believe it was released today, but Glamour's Women of the Year. Okay. And I know that Glamour magazine and Hollywood may not be, to me, it's sort of synonymous, right? They represent the same ideals, I suppose, the same world. And so who is on their list? And it's not a long list, at least not the one I saw. It was just a handful, like 5 or 6 women. But who is on their list but Miss Rachel and Rachel Ziegler? And it's not because they were on a Rachel theme this year. It's because they are literally so busy with their carpal tunnel getting off to anybody who was like, free Palestine, that they like their brains don't even think right. But a little sidebar off Miss Rachel, because I did see her get profiled and interviewed on CBS Sunday Morning, my fave program. Like the only thing, the legacy that will live on forever, okay? On theme for this ep, if you're wondering. And, she talks about why she's vocal. She's so vocal about, Gaza and it is, and it's awful. And I've said that, and then the kids who have been killed there, I think they've said like it's been like 20,000 at this point, which I'm going to put a little pin in that because I'm going to get back to that in a second. But Miss Rachel, she's a huge YouTuber and she's like a child educational personality, all this, like a kids TV show host. Okay. This woman is worth $50 million. And she's very much against the billionaires of the world. She has said in the comments when people have written, I hope you become a billionaire. She's like, no. Like, I don't want to be a billionaire. I don't think it's right. And it's just like, what a dumb thing to say. It's just a dumb thing to say. Like, I have my blonde moments, but this lady is a brunette. What is her excuse? Like, it's just a dumb thing to say. I hate that whole logic. It's like, you realize that everything that you're about, awareness and activism and advocacy and helping children, you could build schools if you're religious churches, I don't know, supplies, resources with that billions. Like, what are we talking about? It's like, no, let's all be scarcity. And that's the way to go, people. It's like, how stupid. And it's like, you're worth $50 million. So, back to the Karl Marx thing. You guys know I always put the thing down, flip it, and reverse it. I didn't forget. I have no teleprompter. It's all up here. At least Karl Marx was, and that's where it's like, I view all, even like socialists, communists, maybe Miss Rachel, like the Karl Marx of it all, had good intent, she may have good intentions of, again, equalizing the playing field and imbalance of power and all of this. But it's like, lady, we know enough now. Like, obviously we can tell that she's, left leaning. And I hate that. I hate being put in a camp. I hate when people, I've had it happen even recently. Like, they're like, you're this hardcore MAGA. And I'm like, since when? Considering I throw Trump and hardcore MAGA people under the bus all the time. Like, what are we talking about? So I hate that. But I think to me, it's like pretty evident, which is fine. Like, that's cool. Do you? But lady, like, we know enough about communism and how it crumbles and does not work at this point, where the shiny idealism of like a Karl Marx, like, what are we talking about? I'm not saying she's like, having code of like the Communist Manifesto in her programs for children, but the whole anti-billionaire thing, it just really, I just think it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But yes, like, obviously Rachel Ziegler, whose Snow White movie absolutely bombed, ironically enough, softcore MAGA. Yeah. You know what I love though? I have to say this, and I have reconciled with this in my real life, and I will say this time and time again. I truly say, we all know this, guys. Like, we all have eyeballs, I would think, unless you're going hot pirate this Halloween. That, the left has become so angry and bitter and hostile that I've seen in my own socials. When I throw the left under the bus, they literally come at me, or even, I don't even have to throw them under the bus. I could just have a point of view that is more right leaning, from it could be like close ones, stranger, it doesn't matter. I will get dissertations in my inbox that literally nobody asked for. But when I throw the right under the bus, they literally don't care. Or they'll be like, yeah, true that. You're right. Like that is the stark difference right now. And the whole irony, and I saw a friend post about this today, but it's like how the left is supposed to be, for the people and human rights and all this. And I'm like, where though? Because anybody who disagrees with you, you literally annihilate them verbally and make them wish they were dead. So what part of that are we talking about? Hang on, I'm going to hop in these comments. What's up, John Legend? I'm wondering where you at. Oh, yeah, baby. You got to go back to the Be Kind, Rewind, like Blockbuster. You got to go back to the beginning of the app. I'll explain where I was. I'm here restoring brain cells with you all. Softcore MAGA. That is hilarious. Softcore MAGA. You know what makes me go from hard to soft is the idea of a vagina lollipop. Like I just do not want. So Glamour's Women of the Year. And again, it's condensed to a small pool. They pick these two, Free Palestine and with like, I'm just so over the whole song and dance. I'm so over it all. And it's just like you don't know what you're talking about, and it seems so ignorant to me. Deborah Messing said, you can be pro-Israel and pro-Palestine. And that's so true. But the fact that these people are so like, Gaza's hurting, Gaza's hurting, Gaza's hurting. That's all I hear. Nothing about why and the culprit and the people who truly want to commit genocide. We've been through this, who want to exterminate an entire group of people, an entire country. Like, where's the energy? It's null. It's non-existent. And that to me is what's so stupid. And it's funny because today I saw an interview. This guy is like, he's fine. Okay, he can get it here and he can get it here. He can have the vagina lollipop, okay? But Masab Hussein Youssef, he is the son, I'm sure you guys have seen him by now, of the Hamas founder. And he was a ex-Palestinian militant, but he was an Israeli spy. Now he's very vocal about what Hamas's initiatives are. And he's basically like, yeah, this is all great and dandy, but mark my words, like these words will come back to haunt you. Israel's hand was forced in releasing all of these prisoners. He's like, these are people who are bloodthirsty, ruthless, who want to actually commit genocide. And they're just released now because in the deal, that was part of it, right? Israel had to release Palestinian prisoners. And he's like, he's like, you guys just literally don't even know, like, when will you wake up? He says this, when will you wake up? Right? The amount of people who are so brainwashed, who will still, again, unite with plans to take Israel off the map. Like, never mind people who are brainwashed and indoctrinated, but who are out there, who have either been released, who still remain, whatever it is, to rebuild this coalition and make that happen. And, I talked about this recently, but who was it? Somebody was like, I'm so worried for my kids watching what's happening there. It was an actress, guys. Was it Jennifer Lawrence? And I said at the time, like, first of all, what does that have to do with you? But actually, it does have to do with you, because guess what? When their ideology comes here, they're going to come for you and your kids, bitch. So you should be worried. It's not it's not like, oh, the boogeyman and conspiracy theory. Actually, no. So that's where, again, when I left Hollywood and I left this machine, even like BuzzFeed, like I saw BuzzFeed do a piece on it and they're like, yet again, Miss Rachel's on the right side of history. And then it links to an article about her speaking up about it. It's just, they're all so in bed with each other's, gangbang of groupthink. And I bring it back to the Wall Street Journal investigative report. It's not really investigate, whatever. Name some stats. You get it. But it's like, read the room, read the audience. Victoria's Secret did. And again, when to bring it all back to the beginning about how you're remembered and impact and what you stand for, this is the kind of stuff that's rewarded. And I saw Hollywood crumbling, guys, from at least, 7 years ago it was starting. And I just can't help but think they're still doing it. Like, they're still incessantly doing it. And sure, you have issues with, AI and the writer strikes and pay and all this, but You mean to sit here, you mean to sit right here across from me and tell me honestly that all of this way of thinking and this self-righteous, out of touch, slanted, biased way of thinking isn't what has also led to Hollywood's demise? Like, give me a break. Give me the biggest break of that Kit Kat bar this Halloween, bitch. So, okay, last thing here is, let me just get through these really quickly. Did you guys see the story of Suzanne Somers' husband making an AI doll of her? They were married for 55 years. Suzanne Somers, an iconic actress who passed away a couple years ago, and people think that it's so creepy and weird, but he literally took like her mannerisms, her recordings of her, all of this. Fun little sidebar is I put my little Spidey senses investigative reporter hat on, and I realized that I actually know the man who founded the AI company. You would recognize it. They make these AI dolls. I know him. I met him at Bitcoin conference this year. So actually, in light of seeing videos about this, this is the one who made the Suzanne Somers doll that the husband created. I reached out to see if he and their team will come on the show. So stay tuned for that. I have a feeling that it will happen. But this actually, listen, weird is weird for sure. And I am one to call that out. But this actually, to me, even though it's like kind of Black Mirror fetishy, I actually thought that this was kind of sweet and sad. And I was like, you know what, bitch? When she was alive, they lasted for over 5 decades. Who can actually say that now? So you know what? If this is what the man needs to do to get by, and it's also just made me sad, like he misses her that much. I don't know. Call me a doll freak, but that's how I feel about that. So in Suzanne's case, I guess her legacy will just live on. And then I also threw this doll with plasticky flesh. I don't know. Then I saw on my CBS Sunday Morning, obvi, a throwback interview that Katie Couric did with Diane Keaton. It was from, I think, I don't know, the early 2000s maybe. And they were talking all about Woody Allen and Annie Hall. And Katie Couric is asking her, were you in love with Woody? And they were talking about, just really revered him as such a brilliant artist and creative and a genius. And I thought, wow, like just so much to unpack there. Now being 7 minutes over runtime of this show, truly 7 minutes in heaven though, if you ask me, as I stumble through my words today. And there's just so many layers there, right? Even like Katie Couric as a journalist, like, will she ever be remembered? Truth be told, this sounds harsh, but I don't think so. Like, it's not a caliber of or an impact of like an Oprah or a Diane Sawyer and all this. And it just got me thinking, I don't know, when you kind of like zoom out and really think about like what we do, and in the moment, it's so important. And is it though? Like, will it be after we're gone? Like, what impact would it really leave? Maybe it does now in the present, and that's what matters the most. I don't know. Also, what tipped me off to this existential way of thinking is David Goxine himself, the owner of this network, who in our group text today on Telegram was like, guys, like, thinking about our shows and all this. And he's asking, like, would you watch you? And I was like, oh shit, like, would I watch me? But anyways, but I'm always perpetually existential. Why can't I say that freaking word today? It's like only my favorite word. I'm surprised I don't have it tattooed on my ass. Yes. And then you have Diane Keaton, right? Who's now gone and who was such a powerhouse and such an icon. And I think will have a lasting legacy. But then you have the Woody Allen of it all. And I thought, how crazy, like now it's like, oh, Woody Allen, no, and who, I mean, I don't know. It's definitely sus and, allegations of abusing his daughter and all kinds of stuff. Right. But I just was like, wow, it, in a weird way, kind of brought a parallel to me to the Mao thing earlier, despite somebody's darkness. And again, obviously, all of this wasn't aired out at the time of this interview because they're building a shrine for Woody Allen, who is an artistic genius. Like, there's no denying that. You may not like his stuff, but again, to each their own. Art is subjective. But how somebody can be so dark and complex, and if Woody Allen did do really bad things and have bad repercussions, but still revered as this force and presence, and so that got me thinking about all that. I just thought that was really interesting. And so all of this brings me to our climax here, with or without these vagina lollipops up our asses. I don't know, but all of this got me really thinking, guys. The kooky ways of, be it, even if it's people coming back to old ways and the pendulum swinging, you know, the Victoria's Secret show, or people just being kooky like the Kourtney Kardashian, Gwyneth Paltrow's, or even the Selena Gomez's of it all, like this petty Mean Girls banter through cosmetics, consumerism chat, I don't even know, through living on in a living AI, i.e. Suzanne Somers, and interviews and thought and people who were villains to not and all this, right? It really got me thinking, like, it's all obviously breaking down, at least on Hollywood's end. But I think with media and social media too, and influencers, whatever you want to call it, again, what's sincere, people doing the most, AI coming in Hollywood itself, per the Wall Street Journal piece, really just crumbling. And it got me thinking, is there Pyramid 7, what do you have to see? The vagina lollipop? Yeah, you can Google it. It's really nothing special, actually, but just make sure it doesn't get mixed up in your Halloween candy. Will there be a cracking open and a renaissance of sorts? Because right now, when it comes to, I mean, it really makes me sad, right? When it comes to art and creativity and philosophy and thought, it just all really seems to be in this. I think the people themselves are confused. This is a meta moment as I'm confused. Like, the people talking about this and making said things are confused themselves. But it's all sort of confusing. It's confusing what the motives are. It's confusing how we're interpreting it, how we're told to interpret it. You know, how it will live on and how it will age, with or without us here. You know, with us here or past when we're here. And all I know is, with all of this, I am, this may be surprising for you guys, but I'm actually holding on to, thank you, Abba. I will be here all night for indulging and amusing me with my derangement here. I actually am holding on to why I entered this business, why I entered being a, you know, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed celebrity journalist and reporter, is the arts. And really going down my history deep dive this morning, you know, we always look at the, you know, political leaders and the activists, and in there were philosophers. And, you know, it mentioned Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, artists, Michelangelo, Da Vinci, and it was so beautiful. And I thought, right, like, that is in and of itself kind of a lost art, not to be meta, but really kind of holding on to it. So in the spirit of that, because that's not to be overlooked, I always feel like it is. It's like artsy, fartsy, whatever. And it's so impactful and it's so important. And it really does move generations and periods of time and events and hearts and minds. So with that said, I am somebody who, you know, I'd like to think most of the time I walk the walk, except for talking shit on Sephora and then getting my Anastasio brow whiz from them every now and then when I absolutely need it. I'm actually going to see a couple things, and there are, and all of these projects I've been on, just, you know, when you just want to soak up, you guys ever get like a hard on, you know, with or without the lollipops, for just soaking up new information and art and things and culture and see what's going on. So I have a little itch lately to see all these new movies. So tonight, actually, I'm going to go see Begonia. And all of these have, I feel, kind of like complex, layered, maybe it's like Black comedy or satirical, or have social messaging going on. So I'm excited to see that. Yeah, whether it's satire, whatever it is. So I'm going to see Begonia tonight, which looks really trippy. I also want to see the J-Lo, what is it? The Kiss of the Spider Woman or something. The musical. It's a remake. It was on Broadway and it was a show, movie, and now it's being remade. But same thing. I think it's cultural and societal commentary. And how could I forget? But I cannot wait to go see the remake of Frankenstein. I actually love Guillermo del Toro. I love Shape of Water. So I think it's going to be really freaky deaky, perfect around Halloween. But guys, if nothing else, oh my God, don't make me cry. I actually will end the episode on this comment here. Not that you love J-Lo from ABBA, but the other one. If nothing else, yeah, you know, we can rag on Hollywood and their glamorous, you know, silly, arbitrary lists and all this and that, but really holding on to art and participating in it and the impact that it really has. And I know that I'm going to do that, and I'm excited to do that again and re-engage with it. because it's exciting, and it's thought provoking and inspiring. So lastly here, this is a big question. Taylor, how would you like to be remembered? Oh, I didn't see the Antifa part until just now. I just saw the preview. How would you like to be remembered? What's your opinion of Antifa running rampant? And what do you think about people looting if they don't get their food stamps? Oh, gosh. Well, the latter two, there's somebody, I was like, I'm going to cry. And it's like, so Antifa. The latter two, I think it's just complete anarchy and backward silliness. And again, not to do this, but to compare sides, so to speak, you see how shit hits the fan when people on the left don't get their way. And again, that is what is so ironic to me, because you want to talk about impact and activism. Again, on the surface, it's all for like human rights and equality and civil rights and all this, but it's like it's anarchy. Like you're just destroying places. Like it's just so not okay. And then I see, like, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death, all of the vigils and the prayers and basically his memorial being like a church, and just the contrast there. And I remember at the time too, I said, when people were grossly like cheering for his death on social media and all of this, right? I remember saying, like, the true activists wouldn't have wanted this. And I actually saw this today. I was like, right, again, I should get a Blair White Taylor tip jar. Taylor was right. Because I said this at the time. It's even like the Nelson Mandelas, the Martin Luther King Jr.'s, like, they wouldn't have wanted this. They were, moved mountains, but in a peaceful manner. Like, it would be, their activism would be anything but just shooting someone dead that you didn't agree with. That's what they were exactly like the antithesis of. So that's why when it came to the Charlie Kirk thing and people cheering about it, I was like, was it worth it? Like, this is the people that you aspire to emulate and be. Like, this wasn't their MO. What are we even doing? And so I hope that kind of answers your question. And then as far as how I would like to be remembered, clearly someone is picking up what I'm putting down, that I'm thinking about this extensively lately. I would really like to be remembered as somebody who freed people up, who got out of the box in a way that they didn't even know they could do, and feel liberated and be more empowered. If it's around thought, if it's around politics, if it's around breaking out of the rules society and culture has so engraved in our heads, whether it's how to be as a man, how to be as a woman, I would like to be remembered as somebody who inspires, hopefully, and impacts and touches a lot of people, but to live on their own terms truly, and to be liberated in how they think and how they live. So I thought my crying was done. Thank you, Abba. I thought my crying was done with my Celine Dion Pop Mom grocery store list on the treadmill earlier. But anyways, oh my goodness, I am much over time today. You know what? I guess we just made up for lost time. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. And I hope if you made it through this, I love to hear how you want to be remembered as well. So please drop a comment. And I will see you all tomorrow, with or without your vagina or testicle lollipops. See you guys then. Chris, how was your pee break?
My pee break.
They might flash you on TikTok.
Random baby.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Quite an intro.
Let's address the elephant in the room. That's not the elephant in the room. There's no elephant. Nobody cares.
And I too am a thought criminal. Good. Well, I like you already.
Does this look like a girl who's joking around?
No.
Around?
But how much do you actually understand money? Especially the new wave.
Beauty or intelligence? When you unleash both, it is men's kryptonite.